All right, good evening, everyone. Good Chodesh. Chodesh. All right, we're learning, sponsored by the Fisher family, Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi Shlomo Avram Alevi Perel Bas Ruvain. Also, the Nishmas Dav Ben Chaim, Lefu Shalem, and Philly Yomis, Mechai Sar, Yaakov Ben Bas Yaleah, V'schus of Avram and Yom Ben Ishma Malki Hudis and family, by Yoel Klugman and family, Lefu Shalem, of Moshe Meir Ben Esther Fadal, Vidorai Ben Rivka, and the Bas Chai Sar, Yitz Ben Tzim Medusha, Rivka Bas Shiraleh, Nachman Yaakov Ben Sarah, Aaron Ben Sarah, Devar Basha Shabina, Chana Basha Shabina, for Yitz Ben Tzim Ben Dusha, Zev Ben Chaya Etel, Rachalea Bas Rivka, Aaron Ben Sarah, Nachman Yaakov Ben Sarah, and Meir Ben Chaya Sarah. They should have a refuah shalem and b'seich shachar Yisrael. Okay, so the last prakim of this Masechta deal with the stei achuza, with the ancestral field, which is a uniquely Jewish concept that when you sell an ancestral field, it comes back to the ancestral family at Yovel. Now, what our Mishna discusses is the unique law of where, let's say, it was, let's say it was Ruvain Shanet's ancestral field, and it was Makdish. Now, so it's hektish until Yovel. If somebody wants to redeem it, so there's a special Gezeres HaKasav that it's not redeemed according to its value. It's redeemed with a formula of 50 shkalim for every zera chaymer sa'irim, for every area where you could plant a kur of seed of barley, to pay 50 shekel. Now that's only if you redeem it in the beginning of Yovel. Closer you get to Yovel, the field is worth less to hektish because it's going to return to Ruvain. So then you deduct for every year a shekel and a punyan. Now, the Mishnah starts off that ein makdishin lefnei hayovel pachas mishtei shanim. You shouldn't be makdish before the yovel less than 2 years. What this means is if he wants to redeem it within the first 2 years, he has to pay the full 50 shkalim. You don't get any reduction the first 2 years. No. I'm sorry. I'm mixing up two statements. If Ruvain is going to dedicate the field, he shouldn't dedicate it less than 2 years before the Yovel, because we learn out from the pasuk that you only get the reduction if it's years. So if it's less than 2 years before the Yovel, if he'll want to redeem it, even though there's only 2 years left, he'll have to pay the full 50 shkalim. And since he'll have to pay the full 50 shkalim, it's the Mishnah is giving you an idea, Ruvain, that don't makdish it with less than 2 years left before the Yovel, because then you would think, I'll only have to redeem it for the most to 2 punyan and 2 shkalim. No. You don't get any reduction if there isn't shonim. And therefore, you would have to pay the full 50 shkalim. And you don't redeem it after the yovel less than a year. Now here again, this means an interesting thing. This means that we don't prorate the reduction. It's rounded off to the year in the benefit of hektish. So therefore, if you'll be makdish it and you'll want to redeem it in the first year, we don't say, okay, but we deduct it, that hektish had it for 8 months, 9 months. We don't say that. Only reduce it if it's full years. And that's what the Mishnah says. It's Perusha Kamafarish. Ein mechashvin chadoshim lehektish. We don't figure months to hektish. And therefore, it's rounded off always to the year in the favor of hektish. Aval a hektish mechashev chadoshim. But in a hektish, there is a half a year. And that means that if Ruvain dedicates it a year and a half before the yovel, we don't round it off to 2 years and then say that he could, get the reduction of just 2 sela and 2 punyan. No, it's only a year and a half, and he has to pay the full 50 shkalim. Hamakdish sadeyu b'shas hayovel. Now here, the Mishnah tells us the formula that if you makdish your field when the yovel, b'shas hayovel means when the yovel is noig, at the time that we're noig, the halachas of yovel, the jubilee, where the slaves go free, etc. Noising, the formula is when you want to redeem it, it's not redeemed according to value, but you have to give for a zera chaymer sa'irim for the area where you plant a kur of barley, 50 shekel kesef. Now, what about if there were clefts in the field, like ditches that were not plantable? If there were clefts deep 10 tvachim, or racks high 10 tvachim, which were not plantable, so they're not counted towards the area of Zerach Chaimer Sa'irim. You don't get them for free. Those you have to redeem from Hektish for their value. Ein nimdodin ima. It's not measured together with the rest to make up an area of Zerach Chaimer Sa'irim. Pachas mikan, but if it's less than 10 tvachim high or less than 10 tvachim deep, these are called pockets and spines of the land, and they're tuffle to the land, and then they are nimdodin ima, then they are measured with it. Hikdisha shtayim or shlosh shanim lifnei yovel. If you makdish it 2 full years or 3 full years before the yovel, so we said you prorate it, and since it's going to return to Ruvain anyway at yovel, so noisin sela punyan l'shana. You give a sela and punyan per year. Now let's say he'll say, look, let me, we'll do a layaway. I'll pay it out. Im amar areini noisin dvar shana b'shana. I'll give zera punyan each year. We don't accept that. You got to give full payment. Ein shaymelai ela noisin es kulay ke'echad. He has to give the whole thing right away. Now, what's the difference whether if Ruvain redeems the field, the owner, or let's say Yehuda wants to redeem the field? Echad abalim ve'echad kol adam. Ruvain could redeem the field, the owner, or Yehuda could redeem the field until Yovel. Ma bein ha'ba'olim lebein kol adam. What's the difference between if Ruvain redeems it or Yehuda redeems it? There's a din of a fifth. The owner, when he redeems it, has to add a fifth. Ela shabalim nois nim chaimish. Now this is called a fifth milavar, which means that really he has to add a quarter, and when you add what he gives to the total, it becomes a fifth. While the kol adam, while Yehuda, if he redeems it, ain't a nois in chaimish, he doesn't have to add a fifth. He just gives the calculation of zera chaimish sa'irim as according to how many years there are left till Yovel. Again, we will have a Mariv tonight at 7:45. We are short one because Rav Shlomo Bernstein has gone to Eretz for a few weeks. So please help us out for the second minyan. And Agun Chaydish again, remember to say Yalav Yavai. Chanani ben Akasha Amaratz Kodesh Baruch Hu Zakei Yisrael. Lefika Chebelem Torah Mitzvus. Shenem Adi Noichapeit Saman Tzidkai. Yadel Torah V'Yadeh.